Hey, the other thing is, y'all watch. If this turns off at 15 minutes, tell me. Okay? I think there's something wrong with my recorder. Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, yesterday we solved exponential equations. Today we're going to solve log equations. So, to solve a log equation, you have to get rid of the log. So, to do that, the only way we know how to do that is to put it in exponential form. So if I do that, I get 2 to the 7th power equals this. So for 2 to the 7th power, I get 128. I'm going to add the 4. So I get x is 44. So the next one is going to work exactly the same. What's the only difference between number 1 and number 2? What's here? What's my base? E. So go ahead and change it to exponential and solve. Was it 4,051.542? So the next one, everybody watch. The difference between 1 and 3, the log is by itself. Is the log by itself here? What's with it? So the minus 5, so how do I get rid of the minus 5? So if I add 5, and so now can I do the circle thing and solve? So you try. Okay, so the next one. What do you think I'm going to do first? Subtract the 4. Now what? Is the log by itself yet? No. I have this right here, don't I? So since the log is by itself, I'm going to divide by 2. Because this is multiplied, so we'll divide by 2. So these cancel. Oh, thank you. So now, is my log by itself? Yes. So how do I get rid of the log? Yeah, it's not hard. Yes. Okay, so the next thing, what does the plus mean? Multiplied. So I'm going to have log base 4 of 2b plus 3 and 2b minus 3 equals 2. And so now, is the log by itself? Yes? So now can I put it in exponential form? Yes. Yes. Well, I'd like to throw it at you. Yes, that would be great. Where were you?
I was handing out papers.
You what?
Handing out papers for the counselor.
And so you're late to my class?
Yeah, you and James said. And I was like all the way across the school. I had to walk to the counselor that week. Huh? Because I
Okay.
Oh.
I know. Why did I know this is making me nervous. My recording disappeared. But I think I pushed start.
Yes, you did push start. Let me just start again.
It's not. We're going to be sad. Let's just finish. All right. So, can we write it in exponential form? So we get 4 to the 2nd power equals this.
multiply?
Yes, and we're gonna multiply. Where have you been? I can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, multiply this together, friends. Multiply it together. And after you multiply together, subtract the 36 and factor.
36.
Isn't there 36 there? If I add the 9, I have 25 equals 4v squared.
Yes.
And then what? Divide by 4. And then square root. And how many answers do I get when I square root? So I get plus and minus 5 over 2. Okay, on your handy dandy calculator, everyone take log of a negative number, any negative number, I don't care what number it is. What does your calculator tell you? Tells you error, because you can't take the log of a negative number. So we got two answers here. We got a plus 5 and a plus 5 over 2 and a minus 5 over 2. So if I take, anytime you get a negative answer, you're going to check and see. And if it makes this turn negative, you can't have it for an answer. So this negative 5 over 2, if I put it here, the 2's cancel, and I have negative 5 plus 3, and that becomes negative, and you can't have that. So you only get one answer with this, the positive 5 over 2. So look, here I got the negative 3, right? But if I take that negative 3, if I put it in here, negative 3 squared is 9, and 9 minus 6, it's still a positive number. So that one was okay, okay? But you have to check your negative answers. Okay, so now up here, I divided by 2, right? I divided by 2. So can I divide by 1/3 here?
No.
I can't because of this plus, right? You can't do that. So where does this 1/3 go? It goes on the 27. And so I'm taking 27 to the 1/3. What is 27 to the, what is the third root of 27? 3. So I'm going to have ln of 3 times x minus 5 equals 4. I want to change this to an exponential. So I do e to the 4th equals 3 times x minus 5. Now what? Distribute. You're going to add the 15 and then divide by 3. Everybody get an answer on your calculator. Make sure yours matches. Yeah. Unless you know e to that power in your head. I got 23.199. Okay, next. Okay, what does the plus mean? Multiply. Everybody. Are we set equal to a number now?
Yes.
So now I can put it in exponential form. So we get 2 to the 5th equals n minus 3 times n plus 1. And this is where I saw a lot of you just sitting and waiting for me to finish it for you. No. How do we multiply n minus 3 times n plus 1? N times n is n squared. Minus 3n plus 1 is minus 2n. Minus 3. 2 to the 5th power.
32.
Now what? Subtract the 32 because we want it equal to 0. So 35, my friends, we only have two sets. 1 and 35, 5 and 7. So it has to be 5 and 7. I want the 2 to be negative, so it's minus 7 and plus 5, which makes my n's a 7 and a negative 5. What's the negative 5 going to do? It's going to make them negative, so my only answer is going to be 7.
So every negative answer is negative or no?
You have to check.
So
Sometimes the negative is going to be okay, right? Like if it was negative 2, well, the 1, but sometimes, like if this is 5, right? And this is negative 2, then it would be okay. All right? Okay, next one. What does the subtraction mean? Division, so I'm going to have log base 2 of c squared over 3c minus 5, and that equals 2. Am I set equal to a number now? Yes, so I can change it to exponential form. So I'm going to do 2 to the second equals c squared over 3c minus 5. So now, is it okay if I just put a 1 here? And now I can cross multiply? So 2 to the second is 4. And this equals c squared. I did 2 to the second power equals this. I put a 1 under this, and then I took 4 times this and 1 times that. I cross multiplied. So I'm going to subtract the 12c, and I'm going to add the 20. So 20 is 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and 3 and 4. Oh, 4 and 5. What do you want? What?
2 and 10.
2 and 10. So I get 2 and 10. And they're both positive, so I'm okay. Yes. Really? Yeah.
Hold on. No.
Okay. So this last one that we're going to work is when it's logs equal to logs. And that's going to work just like the exponential. So when I simplify, where does this 2 go? It goes here. And then I want to simplify in here. Okay, so once you have this, just like the exponentials, where when the bases are the same, we solve for the exponents. Once you have the ln's equal, you can set this equal to this. So I'm going to get a plus 1 times a plus 1 equals 64. So when I multiply this out, I get a squared plus 2a plus 1. I'm going to subtract the 64. And the 63, I'm going to use 7 and 9. Which gives me negative 9 and 7. And the negative 9 is going to make that negative, so only the 7 is the positive, is the answer.